settle slowly across the hills of pine and stone. The kind of silence that reminds a man how close he is to being alone. A fading light hung on the horizon like a memory refusing to die, while blackbirds drifted through the distance beneath a cold and restless sky. I stood beside the old depot where rust had claimed the rails, listening to the wind move softly through forgotten wooden trails. There was a time this place was living, filled with voices, smoke and dreams. Now only shadows gather here along the edges of the stream. The station clock stopped years ago, yet somehow still keeps time inside the hearts of those who linger among its ghosts and faded signs. And every night I find myself returning to this place, wondering if the years I've lost can ever be replaced. When the last train leaves the valley and the whistle fades away, will the echoes of our stories still have something left to say? When the last train leaves the valley and the stars reclaim the sky, will the dreams we couldn't hold on to finally learn to fly? Stretched toward the darkness like scars across the earth, carrying the weight of countless lives and all they thought they were worth. Men once stood upon this platform with suitcases in their hands, chasing futures far beyond these quiet rural lands. Some return with silver hair, sorrow in their eyes. Others vanished with the seasons like smoke beneath the skies. And some were never heard from again. Their names became the rain, falling softly through the years across the window panes. I often think about those travelers and where their roads might lead, whether they found the things they sought or simply what they need. When the last train leaves the valley and the whistle fades away, will the echoes of our stories still have something left to say? When the last train leaves the valley and the stars reclaim the sky, will the dreams we couldn't hold on to finally learn to fly? Oh, oh. The river near the station still sings the same old tune, the one it sang when I was young beneath the harvest moon. It doesn't care for victories, it doesn't mourn defeat, it simply keeps on moving with steady, patient feet. There's something in that lesson that grows clearer every year. The world keeps turning forward, no matter who is here. The oak tree by the crossing has weathered countless storms, its branches twisted toward the heavens in strange and stubborn forms. Yet every spring it finds new leaves. Every winter it survives, a quiet testament to hope that somehow stays alive. I used to think redemption was a place beyond the hills, a distant destination reserved for stronger wills. Now I think redemption lies inside the simple choice to keep walking through the darkness and still lift up your voice, to keep believing kindness matters, though the world can be unkind, to keep searching for a little light when none is easy to find. Tonight the moon is rising above the sleeping trees, casting silver on the rails and dancing on the leaves. The station stands in silence, the platform old and worn, but somehow in its loneliness I don't feel quite so torn. Because every road eventually ends, every chapter reaches close, every sunset gives itself away to the waiting night it knows. And every soul must someday board a train it cannot miss, leaving behind the weight of years for whatever follows this. So when the last train leaves the valley and the whistle fades from sight, I'll stand beneath the endless stars and watch it cross the night. Not with fear inside my heart, no regret for where I've been, but gratitude for every mile and every place I've seen. And if the wind remembers me long after I am gone, settled slowly across the hills of pine and stone, the kind of silence that reminds a man how close he is to being alone. The fading light hung on the horizon like a memory refusing to die, while blackbirds drifted through the distance beneath a cold and restless sky. I stood beside the old depot where rust had claimed the rails, listening to the wind move softly through forgotten wooden trails. There was a time this place was living, filled with voices, smoke and dreams. Now only shadows gather here along the edges of the stream. The station clock stopped years ago, yet somehow still keeps time inside the hearts of those who linger among its ghosts and faded signs. And every night I find myself returning to this place, wondering if the years I've lost can never be replaced. When the last train leaves the valley and the whistle fades away, will the echo stretched toward the darkness like scars across the earth, carrying the weight of countless lives and all they thought they were worth. Men once stood upon this platform with suitcases in their hands, chasing futures far beyond these quiet rural lands. Some return with silver hair and sorrow in their eyes. Others vanished with the seasons like smoke beneath the skies. And some were never heard from again. Their names became the rain, falling softly through the years across the window panes. I often think about those travelers and where their roads might lead, whether they found the things they sought or simply what they need. When the last train leaves the valley and the whistle fades away, will the echoes of our stories still have something left to say? Oh, when the last train leaves the valley and the stars reclaim the sky, will the dreams we couldn't hold on to finally learn to fly? The river near the station still sings the same old tune, the one it sang when I was young beneath the harvest moon. It doesn't care for victories, it doesn't mourn defeat, it simply keeps on moving with steady, patient feet. There's something in that lesson that grows clearer every year. The world keeps turning forward, no matter who is here. The oak tree by the crossing has weathered countless storms, its branches twisted toward the heavens in strange and stubborn forms. Yet every spring it finds new leaves, every winter it survives, a quiet testament to hope that somehow stays alive. I used to think redemption was a place beyond the hills, a distant destination reserved for stronger wills. Now I think redemption lies inside the simple choice to keep walking through the darkness and still lift up your voice, to keep believing kindness matters, though the world can be unkind, to keep searching for a little light when none is easy to find. Tonight the moon is rising above the sleeping trees, casting silver on the rails and dancing on the leaves. The station stands in silence, the platform old and warm, but somehow in its loneliness I don't feel quite so torn, 'cause every road eventually ends, every chapter reaches close. I grew up where the gravel roads cut through fields of dust and stone, where the nights were long and silent, and a man learned how to stand alone. The old folks spoke in whispers about the things they couldn't see. They blamed the darkness for their troubles and called it destiny. But I spent years beneath those skies, watching life unfold, and I learned that fear wears many faces long before a soul grows old. I saw good men lose their way, chasing gold they couldn't keep. I saw proud hearts break apart and strong men fall to grief. And through it all, one truth remained, as clear as winter rain. The devil never knocked on my door, I opened it myself. Every road I shouldn't have taken was chosen by nobody else. The devil never whispered low beneath the midnight sky. Most of my battles came from within, not from something outside. There was a season of my life when anger ruled my hands. I carried storms inside my chest that nobody could understand. Every slight became a fire, every wound became a war. I blamed the world for everything and always wanted more. The mirror tried to tell me things I refused to hear, because truth is often harder than living with your fear. I kept running from my reflection through the thunder and the rain, but every mile only taught me that I was carrying the chain. The devil never knocked on my door, I opened it myself. Every road I shouldn't have taken was chosen by nobody else. The devil never whispered low beneath the midnight sky. Most of my battles came from within, not from something outside. One winter by the riverbank, I sat beneath a dying tree. The water moved through sheets of ice, like time escaping me. The wind was sharp as broken glass, the clouds were hanging low, and for the first time in many years, I had nowhere left to go. No excuses left to borrow, no one left to blame, just a tired man and his mistakes, standing face to face. And in that cold and lonely silence, something finally changed. Not because a miracle appeared or heaven called my name, but because I saw the simple truth that I had tried to hide. The hardest road a man can walk leads straight through his own pride. The places where I hid. Now the years have softened me like rivers shape a stone. I've learned that strength ain't being fearless, it's facing what you've known. I've learned regret can teach a lesson if you listen long enough. And broken dreams can still leave wisdom when the road gets rough. The mountains don't apologize for every storm they've seen. They simply stand through all the seasons and become what they've been. Maybe that's the way we're meant to live. Not perfect, not in tone, but honest about where we've fallen and willing to be reborn. Tonight the stars are shining clear above these weathered lanes, and peace feels closer than it used to, though it slips between my hands. I still carry old memories, I still feel old pain, but they no longer own my soul the way they did back then, because the devil never knocked on my door. I opened it myself, and the day I finally closed it, I discovered something else. I grew up with the gravel roads, cut through fields of dust and stone, where the nights were long and silent, and a man learned how to stand alone. The old folks spoke in whispers about the things they couldn't see. They blamed the darkness for their troubles and called it destiny. But I spent years beneath those skies, watching life unfold, and I learned that fear wears many faces long before the soul grows. The evening sun was sinking low behind the hills of stone, painting gold across the earth before it left me all alone. A tired breeze moved through the grass like it carried stories old of dreamers who had come and gone, and hearts that couldn't bear the cold. I sat beside an empty road where no headlights ever shine, listening to the distant world while counting scars instead of time. The sky turned amber, then turned gray. The shadows slowly grew, and every fading ray of light reminded me of you. Not the way you looked at me, not the promises we made, forgotten prayers and silent falling tears. The trees stood dark against the dusk like guardians of the past, watching every season pass, knowing nothing truly lasts. The river down below the ridge kept rolling toward the sea, never asking where it goes, just accepting what will be. I envy that old river then, its freedom from regret, its ability to leave behind the things it can't forget. Because some memories grow roots deep beneath the soul. No matter how far you run, they never let you go. Now the ashes of the evening sun,
scattered by the wind,
pieces of a life I knew
that won't return again.
Ashes of the evening sun,
Floating through the years,
mixed with old forgotten prayers and silent falling tears. There was a town beyond the hills where laughter filled the air, children running through the streets without a single care. The diner on the corner glowed beneath the neon light, and old men told their stories there late into the night. But time moved through that little place like a slow and silent flame, leaving empty storefront windows and weathered signs with faded names. Now the streets are mostly quiet, the crowds have disappeared, only echoes remain behind of all the lives once gathered here. Sometimes I drive back through that town as twilight fills the sky, and wonder where those people went and how they said goodbye. The church still stands upon the hill, the bell still rings at noon, but the faces that I used to know vanished much too soon. The years keep moving like freight trains across forgotten tracks, never slowing for the broken hearts that wish they could go back. Now they're ashes of the evening sun,
scattered by the breeze,
drifting through the open fields
and sleeping autumn trees,
the ashes of the evening sun,
carried far away
like the final traces of a dream that couldn't stay. The stars arrived one by one above the darkened land, like tiny fires burning bright beyond the reach of man. Standing there beneath their glow, I finally understood the pain of losing what we love doesn't mean life wasn't good. Because every smile leaves a mark, every hand we've held remains, every soul that crossed our path still echoes through our veins. The sunset may surrender to the waiting arms of night, but somewhere past the darkness the dawn prepares its light. So I'll gather these old memories and wear them like a crown, not as chains that hold me back, but proof that I was found. So I'll gather these old memories and wear them like a crown, not as chains that hold me back, but proof that I was found. And when my final evening comes and the western sky turns gold, I walk into that fading light, restored sun was sinking low behind the hills of stone, painting gold across the earth before it left me all alone. The tide breeze moved through the grass like it carried stories old of dreamers who had come and gone, and hearts that couldn't bear the cold. I sat beside an empty road where no headlights ever shine, listening to the distant world while counting scars instead of time. The sky turned amber, then turned gray. The shadows slowly grew, and every fading ray of light reminded me of you. Not the way you looked at me, not the promises we made, but the feeling of believing that some things never fade. Now they're ashes of the evening sun, scattered by the wind, pieces of a life I knew that won't return again. Ashes of the evening sun, floating through the years, mixed with old forgotten prayers and silent falling tears. The trees stood dark against the dusk, like guardians of the past, watching every season pass, knowing nothing truly lasts. The river down below the ridge kept rolling toward the sea, never asking where it goes, just accepting what will be. I envied that old river then, its freedom from regret, its ability to leave behind the things it can't forget. Because some memories grow roots deep beneath the soul. No matter how far you run, they never let you go. Now they're ashes of the evening sun, scattered by the wind, pieces of a life I knew that won't return again. Ashes of the evening sun, floating through the years, mixed with old forgotten prayers and silent falling tears. There was a town beyond the hills where laughter filled the air, children running through the streets without a single care. The diner on the corner glowed beneath the neon light, and old men told their stories there late into the night. But time moved through that little place like a slow and silent flame, leaving empty storefront windows and weathered signs with fading names. Now the streets are mostly quiet, the crowds have disappeared, only echoes remain behind of all the lives once gathered here. Sometimes I drive back through that town as twilight fills the sky, and wonder where those people went and how they said goodbye. The church still stands upon the hill, the bell still rings at noon, but the faces that I used to know vanish much too soon. The years keep moving like freight trains across forgotten tracks, never slowing for the broken hearts that wish they could go back. Now they're ashes of the evening sun, scattered by the breeze, drifting through the open fields and sleeping autumn trees. Ashes of the evening sun, carried far away, like the final traces of a dream that couldn't stay. The stars arrived one by one above the darkened land, like tiny fires burning bright beyond the reach of man. Standing there beneath their glow, I finally understood the pain of losing what we love doesn't mean life wasn't good. 'Cause every smile leaves a mark, every hand we've held remains, every soul that crossed our path still echoes through our veins. There, beyond the valley, where the cold wind waits each night, it moves through broken branches like a ghost without a light. I've walked that road for years now, with these shadows at my side, carrying old memories that no river ever dried. The mountains stand like old men, silent underneath the snow, guarding all the secrets that only lonely travelers know. I once believed in forever, back when my heart was young, before the weight of passing years found its place upon my lung. Now every sunset feels heavier, every dawn arrives too late, and somewhere past the horizon the cold wind waits, where the cold wind waits, where the blackbird flies, where the moon hangs low in a tired sky, where the silence speaks louder than the rain, where a man learns how to live beside his pain. I've seen old houses standing long after love had gone, their windows staring empty toward another lonely dawn. I've heard trains in the distance calling through the dark, like forgotten songs returning to a worn and weathered heart. The river keeps on moving, though it never says goodbye. It simply carries yesterday beneath the fading sky. Maybe that's the lesson that life was meant to teach. Some things stay before your eyes, but remain beyond your reach. Where the cold wind waits, where the blackbirds fly, where the moon hangs low in a tired sky, where the silence speaks louder than the rain, where a man learns how to live beside his pain. There was a woman years ago with sunlight in her eyes. She could make the darkest room feel warm enough to survive. She spoke of brighter mornings and roads we'd never seen, back when hope still sounded real and not like some forgotten dream. But time is a restless thief. It takes what it desires most, leaving only echoes and the shape of what we lost. Still sometimes in the evening, when the sky begins to fade, I hear a voice inside the wind, moving through the shade, not calling me to follow, not asking me to stay, just drifting like a melody that never went away. The stars above these old hills have watched a million lives. They've seen kings become dust and watched the humble survive. They've seen promises broken and miracles appear, seen men overcome their fears and men disappear. And through it all they remain, burning in endless space, while we spend our borrowed years trying to find our place. Where the cold wind waits, where the blackbirds fly, where the moon hangs low in a tired sky, where the silence speaks louder than the rain, where a man learns how to live beside his pain. I don't fear the darkness like I did before. I've spent too many nights standing at his door. I've learned that every shadow needs a little light, and every wounded heart still beats through the night. The oak tree near the crossroad still bends beneath the storm, yet every spring it finds a way to bloom and be reborn. Maybe we're not so different, maybe that's why we endure. Not because life is gentle, but because the soul is stubborn and pure. One day my boots will rest beside this winding trail, and another man will walk it, following the same old tale. He'll hear the distant thunder, he'll watch the dark clouds rise, he'll carry his own burdens beneath familiar skies. And somewhere in the silence, beyond regret and fate, he'll hear that ancient whisper from the place where the cold wind waits, where the blackbirds fly, where the moon hangs low in a tired sky, where the silence speaks louder than the rain, where a man learns. The sky was bleeding silver rain when I stepped onto that old dirt lane. A worn out coat, a tired soul, trying to mend what the years had stole. The fields were sleeping under gray, like they had given their dreams away. And every fence and every stone looked like they knew I'd die alone. A crow sat high on a twisted pine, watching every fault of mine. His black eyes burned through the cold wind's cry, like it had seen every reason why. I kept moving through the misty dawn, though everything I loved was gone. The earth beneath my boots felt strange, like even time itself had changed. The crow knows my name, the crow knows my shame. Every road I've walked in vain, every scar and every stain. The crow knows the truth I hide, the storms I carry deep inside. When the whole world looks away, crow remembers anyway. I found an old church by a creek. Its wooden bones were worn and weak. The bell was gone, the door half broken. Silence drifted like cigarette smoke. I sat alone upon those stairs, speaking words into empty air, asking heaven if it still could hear a man consumed by too much fear. The clouds rolled low across the hill, and every shadow stood so still. Then somewhere in that quiet place I felt the weight of every mistake. The years came back like falling leaves, the ones who stay, the ones who leave, the promises I couldn't keep, the nights I lost to restless sleep. The crow knows my name, the crow knows my shame. Every road I've walked in vain, every scar and every stain. The crow knows the truth I hide, the storms I carry deep inside. When the whole world looks away, the crow remembers anyway. The river moved like liquid glass, carrying pieces of the past. I watched it disappear downstream, taking fragments of forgotten dreams. A cold wind rose from the western ridge, whispering beneath the bridge. And for a moment I could swear the dead were breathing through the air. Not to haunt me, not to blame, not to call me back again, but to remind me life is brief, a candle dancing beyond belief. The crow flew down beside the road, as if it felt my heavy load. It never spoke, it never cried, it simply walked there by my side. Together through the fading day, we watched the sunlight slip away. And when the darkness filled the land, it felt less cruel than I had planned. The crow knows my name, the crow knows my shame. Every road I've walked in Maybe it lives inside the chase, inside the scars, inside the pain, inside the strength to rise again. The crow spread wide its midnight wings above the dark and silent fields, and vanished into endless night beyond the reach of the fading light. I watched until it disappeared and felt something strange draw near. Not joy, not sorrow, not relief, just a quiet kind of belief. Chain over fields that forgot my name. The wind keeps talking through the pines, like a preacher warning me one last time. I walk these roads where the cold grass bends, carrying ghosts that never made amends. Every mile is a memory burned in black, and every prayer I whispered never answered back. The river knows what I tried to hide, all the storms I kept inside. I threw my sorrow into the dark, but it keeps returning with a stronger heart. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every wrong turn, every fading light. I traded peace for a wandering soul. Now the darkness comes to collect its toll. The stars look distant, sharp as nails, hanging over forgotten trails. I remember faces I can't erase. Time took their voices, but not their place. There was a house at the edge of town where laughter once could still be found. Now the windows stare like empty eyes, watching years disappear into the sky. The old train whistle cuts through the rain like a blade through an old man's pain. And somewhere beyond that endless sound are the pieces of me I never found. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every wrong turn, every fading light. I traded peace for a wandering soul. Now the darkness comes to collect its toll. I've seen hope dressed in a coat of gray, standing silent as it walked away. I've watched faith drown in a shallow creek, while the strong grew tired and the proud grew weak. But I still carry a small burning flame, though the world forgot my name. smiles and silent tears. The mountains know what the heart can bear. How much weight can live in despair? Yet somehow the dawn keeps finding a way to pull a little darkness from the day. The night is deep and the road is long, but pain taught me a different song. Not every wound was made to heal. Some are there to remind us what is real. I hear thunder rolling far away, like judgment waiting beyond the grave. Still I walk with my head held high, under a bruised and restless sky. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every shadow standing out of sight, for every promise buried below, for every seed that refused to grow. Beside the stone and cross that river alone. The wind will sing through the tall black trees, carrying fragments of memories. And somewhere beyond the fading blue, a better light might finally break through. Until that day, I'll walk this land with empty pockets and weathered hands, holding on to the last truth I've kept. Every man leaves with a midnight debt. The moon hangs low like a rusted chain over fields that forgot my name. Wind keeps talking through the pines like a preacher warning me one last time. I walk these roads where the cold grass bends, carrying ghosts that never made amends. Every mile is a memory burned in black, and every prayer I whispered never answered back. The river knows what I tried to hide, all the storms I kept inside. I threw my sorrow into the dark, but it keeps returning with a stronger heart. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every wrong turn, every fading light. I traded peace for a wandering soul. Now the darkness comes to collect its toll. The stars look distant, sharp as nails, hanging over forgotten trails. I remember faces I can't erase. Time took their voices, but not their place. There was a house at the edge of town where laughter once could still be found. Now the windows stare like empty eyes, watching years disappear into the sky. The old train whistle cuts through the rain like a blade through an old man's pain. And somewhere beyond that endless sound are the pieces of me I never found. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every wrong turn, every fading light. I traded peace for a wandering soul. Now the darkness comes to collect its toll. I've seen hope dressed in a coat of gray, standing silent as it walked away. I've watched faith drown in a shallow creek, while the strong grew tired and the proud grew weak. But I still carry a small burning flame, though the world forgot my name. Through broken winters and bitter years, through empty bottles and silent tears, the mountains know what the heart can bear, how much weight can live in despair. Yet somehow the dawn keeps finding a way to pull a little darkness from the day. Yeah, the night is deep and the road is long, but pain taught me a different song. Not every wound was made to heal, some are there to remind us what is real. I hear thunder rolling far away, like judgment waiting beyond the grave. Still I walk with my head held high, under a bruised and restless sky. Midnight dead, I still owe the night for every shadow standing out of sight, for every promise buried below, for every seed that refused to grow. Midnight dead, I still hold the dark, for every scar carved across my heart. But I ain't running from what I've been. The devil knows I paid for every sin. And when my final road appears beyond the dust of passing years, I leave these burdens beside the stone and cross that river alone. The wind will sing through the tall black trees, carrying fragments of memories. And somewhere beyond the fading blue, a better light might finally break through. Until that day, I'll walk this land with empty pockets and weathered hands, holding on to the last truth I've kept. Every man leaves with a midnight dead. Moon hangs low like a rusted chain over fields that forgot my name. Wind keeps talking through the pines like a preacher warning me one last time. I walk these roads where the cold grass bends, carrying ghosts that never... There's a bend in the highway just outside of town, where the guardrail ends at nothing and the hillside tumbles down into a gully full of shadows and the ghosts of bad decisions, where the road stops being mercy and starts being with precision. The kind of place that teaches you the cost of going fast, the kind of bend that separates the first time from the last. I've driven past that corner in the black of many nights, with nothing but the dashboard in the cold of distant lights. Ahead of me and nothing in the rear view worth returning, just the engine and the asphalt and that old familiar burning in the chest of a man who's moving because stopping hurts more, who's driving away from something without knowing what he's for. Driving toward the darkness of the open road ahead, alive enough to feel it, but familiar enough with dead to know the difference isn't always as wide as we pretend. That a man can find himself a dead man's curve again and again across a lifetime, at the bend where choices narrow, where the road reveals its nature and it cuts you to the marrow. I was 26 the first time that I nearly didn't turn, came in too fast and reckless with too much of something to burn, through the blood and through the reasoning, through the better part of judgment, and I felt the wheels go light beneath the dark night road, and for a second that felt longer than a year. I was weightless and I was nothing, and I was free of fear and everything that followed it, the debt and the despair. The woman who had left me in the cold of empty air, and the house we used to fill with something close to life, before I let the good thing go and handed back the knife of my own unraveling, before I chose the road over everything that anchored me, before I dropped the load, but being someone's reason and became my own excuse for all the dead man's curves I drove, for all the self-abuse, speeding of avoidance of the highway as a church, where I worship my own running, where I sat upon the perch of momentum, called it freedom, called it being brave, called it anything but what it was, a man digging his own grave. promise to a world that will undo you, that every moment wants something from you that you cannot guarantee to give. So better keep on moving, better drive than try to live in the stillness where the cost of every curve comes due, where a man must sit and reckon with the wreckage that he knew. Supply the wisdom that we operate on day to day. The man who took the curve at speed and spun and walked away, broken in the quiet ways that don't show up on the skin, the ways that live in posture and in everything within, the careful distance that they keep from anything too close, from loving, from belonging, from the things that matter most. Because the curve taught them that speed is the only safe response to a world that will undo you, that every moment wants something from you that you... There's a bend in the highway just outside of town, where the guardrail ends at nothing and the hillside tumbles down. Into a gully full of shadows and the ghosts of bad decisions, where the road stops being mercy and starts being with precision. The kind of place that teaches you the cost of going fast, the kind of band that separates the first time from the last. I've driven past that corner in the black of many nights, with nothing but the dashboard and the cold of distant lights. Ahead of me and nothing, in the rear view worth returning, just the engine and the asphalt, and that old familiar burning in the chest of a man who's moving because stopping hurts more, who's driving away from something without knowing what he's for, driving toward the darkness of the open road ahead, alive enough to feel it, but familiar enough with dead to know the difference isn't always as wide as we pretend, that a man can find himself at dead man's curve again and again across a lifetime, at the bend where choice is narrow, where the road reveals its nature and it cuts you to the marrow. I was 26 the first time that I nearly didn't turn, came in too fast and reckless with too much of something to burn, through the blood and through the reasoning, through the better part of judgment, and I felt the wheels go light beneath the dark night road, and for a second that felt longer than a year, I was weightless and I was nothing, and I was free of fear, and everything that followed it, the death and the despair, the woman who had left me in the cold of empty air, in the house we used to fill with something close to life, before I let the good thing go and hand it back the knife of my own unraveling before I chose the road over everything that anchored me, before I dropped the load of being someone's reason, became my own excuse for all the dead man's curves. I drove for all the self-abuse of speed and of avoidance of the highway as a church where I worshiped my own running, where I sat upon the perch of momentum and called it freedom, called it being brave, called it anything but what it was. A man digging his own grave, 1 mile at a time, one dark curve at a time, one night, bleeding into morning with no destination in the light. The second time I came to Dead Man's Curve, I was older. The speed was not the whiskey kind, it was the cold shoulder kind of reckless, the deliberate in slow motion mistake of a man who knows he's driving wrong but has too much at stake in his pride to lift the foot, in his stubbornness to break before the bend demands it, before everything can break into the consequence he's earned through years of not conceding that the road ahead is limits, that a man who keeps proceeding past the warnings and the guardrails and the crosses by the road eventually finds himself alone beneath the load of wreckage of the aftermath of everything he hit, when the curve arrived and found him unprepared and unfit to navigate the turning to reduce his speed and time. These are not the curves of asphalt, these are curves of the sublime. And terrible mathematics of a life that moves too fast, that never learned the difference between first time and the last. I've known men who died out there, not on the highway proper, not in any crash report, but in the slower collisions of the everyday and short. Supply of wisdom that we operate on day to day, the men who took the curve at speed and spun and walked away, broken in the quiet ways that don't show up on skin, the ways that live in posturing and everything within the careful distance that they keep from anything too close, from love and from belonging, from the things that matter most, because the curve taught them that speed is the only safe response to a world that will undo you, that every moment wants something from you that you cannot guarantee to give. So better keep on moving, better drive and try to live in the stillness where the cost of every curve comes due, where a man must sit and reckon with the wreckage that he knew was coming but refused to slow, refused to read the sign that said the road ahead was bending and the road ahead was mine. To navigate with wisdom or to lose with arrogance, the choice was always present, but the choosing makes demands. I pulled over at the corner on a Tuesday in November, and a year I'd rather carry than a year I'd rather remember. Got out of the truck and stood there in the gray and bitter cold, and looked down in that gully at the story being told by the rusted piece of metal from some vehicle long past that had failed the curve completely, and it breathed its last down in the shadow of the hillside, in the frost and bramble grown over failure, over wreckage, nature claiming back its own. I stood there for a long time in the wind without my coat. My father's hands were iron, and his heart was forged the same. He came up through a furnace, and he never spoke of blame. Never pointed at the system, never cursed the crooked deal. Just put his hands to iron, and it taught me how to feel. The difference between burning and and the heat that makes you strong, between the fire that destroys you and the fire you belong. Inside of the refining kind, the kind that burns away everything that isn't real in you, everything that's clay, that crumbles under pressure, that dissolves beneath the weight. My father stood in furnace heat, and he called that furnace fate. I watched him at the foundry from the times I was a boy, standing in the doorway of a place that had no joy in the decorative sense, no beauty built for show, just the functional and honest beauty of the glow. A molten metal moving through the channels, cutting sand, of a man who knows his purpose with the ladle in his hand, who doesn't need the validation of a watching crowd, who finds his confirmation in the work and in the loud hiss of hot metal meeting cold, that ancient chemistry of transformation happening in front of you and me, of something raw becoming something useful, something meant to hold its shape regardless of the forces to cement itself into the structure of a thing that has to last. My father poured himself like iron, burning, unsurpassed. There is a quality in certain men, like tempered steel, a density of character that others cannot feel until they press against it, until they test the grade of what a man is made of in the choices that he's made. Over decades, over hardship, over loss that would have bent a lesser alloy long before a lesser element into shapes that serve no purpose, brittle, thin and wrong. These men are forged in different fires, these men are iron strong, not brutal, not unfeeling. That's the misconception told by those who've never needed to be anything but cold and functional and present when the structure needs a spine. These men are the load-bearing walls, the underground design that holds the whole thing standing when the storm comes overhead. They do not seek the credit, and they do not need the bread of admiration. They are fed by something more austere, the knowledge that they held the line through every difficult year. I carry on in my blood from everything he gave, from the morning lessons, from the discipline, the grave. Serious attention that he paid to how I stood, to how I spoke to elders, to the value of being good. Not perfect, he would tell me, not without your flaws and weight, but honest in your effort and show up early, show up late. If that is what is needed, let no man say of you that you were anything but present, anything but true. To the work that's placed before you, to the handshake and the word. A man's word is his iron, and once spoken it is heard by the world and by the history of everything you've built. And nothing rusts but iron fast, nothing brings the silt of disrepute upon a name like breaking what you swore. My father said it once and never needed to say more. I've been to ash before, not once but several times. I've stood in the gray residue of something I had built with everything I knew how to give, and watched it crumble watch the structure fall, not from lack of trying, not from giving less than all, but from the nature of endeavor, from the honest truth that iron bends in heat enough, and I was less in youth. Less refined, less tempered, still too close to my own law, still too much the raw material, not enough the core of what I was becoming, of what the years would make, of the man who stood in rubble at the edge of his mistake, and had to choose to stay there, and to sorrow and to grieve, or pick up what was salvageable and choose again to believe. In the process of the forging, in the fire and the loss, in the necessary burning and the necessary cost. Ash has its own beauty when you're not afraid of it, when you stop and really look at what remains after the lit. And burning world is settled, after everything is cool, you find the pure components, you find what cannot be fooled, or burned away entirely, what insists on staying true. The mineral of character, the residue of you, that is essential and irreducible and bare. The self that has no costume, and the self that's always there. Beneath the roles and titles, beneath the pride and name, beneath the things you chased after, and the losses and the fame of small town reputation, the ash reveals the man, the substance that he's working with, the limits of his span of possibility, and also, and most true, the core of something lasting at the center of it all. That's you. I built again from ash before the last cold ember died, not with the same materials, or something more inside, beneath the roles and titles. My father's hands were iron and his heart was forged the same. He came up through a furnace and he never spoke of blame. Never pointed at the system, never cursed the crooked deal. Just put his hands to iron and he taught me how to feel the difference between burning and the heat that makes you strong, between the fire that destroys you and the fire you belong. Inside of the refining kind, the kind that burns away everything that isn't real in you, everything that's clay that crumbles under pressure, that dissolves beneath the weight. My father stood in furnace heat and he called that furnace fate. I watched him at the foundry from the times I was a boy, standing in the doorway of a place that had no joy in the decorative sense. No beauty built for show, just the functional and honest beauty of the glow of molten metal moving through the channels, cutting sand, of a man who knows his purpose with the ladle in his hand, who doesn't need the validation of a watching crowd, who finds his confirmation in the work and in the loud hiss of hot metal meeting cold, that ancient chemistry of transformation happening in front of you and me, of something raw becoming something useful, something meant to hold its shape regardless of the forces, to cement itself into the structure of a thing that has to last. My father poured himself like iron, burning, unsurpassed. There is a quality in certain men like tempered steel, a density of character that others cannot feel, until they press against it, until they test the grade of what a man is made of in the choices that he's made. Over decades, over hardship, over loss that would have been a lesser alloy long before a lesser element, into shapes that serve no purpose, brittle, thin, and wrong. These men are forged in different fires. These men are iron strong, not brutal, not unfeeling. That's the misconception told by those who've never needed to be anything but cold. And functional and present when the structure needs a spine. These men are the load-bearing walls, the underground design that holds the whole thing standing when the storm comes overhead. They do not seek the credit, and they do not need the bread of aberration. They are fed by something more austere, the knowledge that they held the line through every difficult year. I carry iron in my blood from everything he gave, from the morning lessons, from the discipline, the grave, and serious attention that he paid to how I stood, to how I spoke to elders, to the value of being good. Not perfect, he would tell me, not without your flaws and weight, but honest in your effort, and show up early, show up late. If that is what is needed, let no man say of you that you are anything but present, anything but true to the work that's placed before you, to the handshake and the word. A man's word is his iron, and once spoken, it is heard by the world and by the history of everything you've built. And nothing rusts that iron faster, and nothing brings the silk of disrepute upon a name like breaking what you swore. My father said it once and never needed to say more. I've been to ash before. Not once but several times I've stood in the gray residue of something I had built with everything I knew. How to give and watched it crumble, watched the structure fall. Not from lack of trying, not from giving less than all, but from the nature of endeavor, from the honest truth that iron bends in heat enough, and I was less in youth, less refined, less tempered, still too close to my own ore, still too much the raw material, not enough the core of what I was becoming, of what the years would make, of the man who stood in rubble at the edge of his mistake, and had to choose to stay there, and to sorrow and to grieve, or pick up what was salvageable and choose again to believe. In the process of the forging, in the fire and the loss, in the necessary burning, in the necessary cost. Ash has its own beauty when you're not afraid of it, when you stop and really look at what remains after the lid. And burning world is settled after everything is cool. stood at the edge of the Yazoo when I was 17, watching all that brown water carry off what the land had been. After 3 weeks of flooding, after 3 weeks of rain, that came down like a reckoning, that came down like a stain. On everything my family had worked since before my name, since before the deed was written, since before we came. To understand that land is borrowed, that the river holds the lease, that no man owns the water, and the water owns the peace. My grandfather lost a barn that year, lost the winter storm, lost the equipment rusting in the yard, outside the door. He stood and watched the water like a man who's past his grief, who's moved into the territory just beyond relief, into something harder, something quieter and still. A man who's made his reckoning and bent his broken will, not in defeat, not in surrender, but in the kind of bow that says, I understand the terms and I accept them now. The river doesn't forget a single thing you gave, every drop of sweat you poured into it, every wave of effort, every morning that you woke before the sun and went down to the water before anything was done. Before the world had started, before the birds had stirred, the river held your labor, and the river kept your word. Even when you couldn't, even when you failed, the river kept the record. The river never bailed on the truth of what occurred here, on the history of this ground. Every man who ever worked it, every man who drowned, in debt or in the water, in the whiskey or the years, the river holds the inventory of a lifetime of arrears. I've known men harder than the hickory and the oak, men who never flinched at hardship, men who never spoke of what the years had taken, what the road had cost, men who kept their reckoning, private men who never lost, that buried in the public eye but crumbled in the night, alone beside a window in the insufficient light of a lamp that's burning low on oil and on hope, who reached into the darkness for a reason and a rope, to pull themselves to morning, to pull themselves to stand. Another day of caring what no one understands about a life lived fully in the margins of this world, where the wages don't match the labor and the flag stays unfurled. For everyone but you, it seems, for everyone but those who work the land in winter when the cold river overflows. There is a bend downstream from here where two currents meet, where the cold water and the warm water argue and compete for dominance and direction, for the right to lead the flow. And the water churns and boils there in the dark below. The surface that looks placid to the eye that doesn't know what violence lives beneath the calm, what forces come and go in the depths of things that matter, in the heart of working men who show a level surface but a churning deep within, between the life they're living and the life they meant to live, between the things that took from them and everything they give. I've sat beside that bended night and listened to the sound of two rivers becoming one, that old familiar ground of conflict and emerging, of the fight that ends and flow, of the man you were at 20 and the man you've come to know at 40, the halfway at the reckoning, the years when you count what you've accomplished through the silence and the tears that you never left for public, that you're safe for the alone times beside the water when you could finally own the full weight of your story, without judgment, without shame. When the river heard your confession and accepted it the same as it accepts the runoff from the fields and from the farms, as it accepts the cold rain falling into its open arms, without condition, without question. That is grace to me, the unconditional receiving of whatever I might be. My son came to the river with me early last July, stood beside me in the morning underneath the same pale sky that has watched this family struggle for more years than I can count. And he asked me what I was looking at, what all the hours amount to, standing by this water, staring out across the brown. I told him I was listening, I told him I was counting down, from everything I thought I knew to everything that's real, from the surface of a story to the depth of what you feel. My grandfather lost a barn that year, lost a winter store, lost the equipment rusting in the yard outside the door. I stood at the edge of the Yazoo when I was 17. I stood at the edge of the Yazoo when I was 17, watching all that brown water carry off what the land had been. After 3 weeks of flooding, after 3 weeks of rain that came down like a reckoning, that came down like a stain on everything my family had worked since before my name, since before the deed was written, since before we came to understand that land is borrowed, that the river holds the lease, that no man owns the water, and the water owns the peace. My grandfather lost a barn that year, lost a winter store, lost the equipment rusting in the yard outside the door. He stood and watched the water like a man who's past his grief, who's moved into the territory just beyond relief, into something harder, something quieter and still. A man who's made his reckoning and bent his broken will, not in defeat, not in surrender, but in the kind of boat that says I understand the terms and I accept them now. doesn't forget a single thing you gave. Every drop of sweat you poured into it, every wave of effort. Every morning that you woke before the sun and went down to the water before anything was done. Before the world had started, before the birds had stirred, the river held your labor and the river kept your word. Even when you couldn't, even when you failed, the river kept the record. The river never bailed on the truth of what occurred here on the history of this ground. Every man who ever worked it, every man who drowned in debt or in the water, in the whiskey or the years, the river holds the inventory of a lifetime of arrears. I've known men harder than the hickory and the oak, men who never flinched at hardship, men who never spoke of what the years had taken, what the road had cost, men who kept their reckoning private, men who never lost their bearing in the public eye, but crumbled in the night, alone beside a window in the insufficient light of a lamp that's burning low on oil and on hope, who reached into the darkness for a reason and a rope, to pull themselves to morning, to pull themselves to stand. Another day of carrying what no one understands, but a life lived fully in the margins of this world, where the wages don't match the labor and the flag stays unfurled. For everyone but you, it seems, for everyone but those who work the land in winter. When the cold river overflows, there is a bend downstream from here where two currents meet, where the cold water and the warm water argue and compete for dominance and direction, for the right to lead the flow. And the water churns and boils there in the dark below, the surface that looks placid to the eye that doesn't know what violence lives beneath the calm, what forces come and go. Things that matter in the heart of working men, who show a level surface but are churning deep within, between the life they're living and the life they meant to live, between the things that took from them and everything they give. I've sat beside that bend at night and listened to the sound of two rivers becoming one, that old familiar ground, conflict and emerging, but the fight that ends in flow, of the man you were at 20 and the man you've come to know at 40, at the halfway, at the reckoning of years, when you count what you've accomplished through the silence and the tears that you never let fall public, that you saved for the alone times beside the water, when you could finally own the full weight of your story without judgment, without shame. When the river heard your confession and accepted it the same. As it accepts the runoff from the fields and from the farms, as it accepts the cold rain falling into its open arms, without condition, without question, that is grace to me. The unconditional receiving of whatever I might be. I was born in a county where the dirt had its own name, where the summer burned like judgment and the winter did the same. My grandfather worked that soil till his fingers lost their feel. and my father followed after him. That same unyielding deal between a man and the earth beneath, between the sweat and clay, between the ones who stay and work and those who run away. I stayed. I stayed. I stayed when the drought came rolling like a preacher with no grace. Stayed when the bank sent letters with that cold, familiar face of a system built for others, for the ones who never break their hands on honest labor, for the ones who only take. I stayed and I kept working when the reasons wore away, when the purpose became habit and the habit became gray. There's mud on my hands from the morning I was made, from the very first decision and the very first decade of learning what a man owes to the life that carries him, of learning that the light won't come unless you feed the dim. Corners of your discipline, the dark rooms of your will, the places where you grind alone when everything is still. My hands are split like dry wood in the January freeze, have bled into the machinery, have bled into the trees. I planted on the north end where the wind comes hard and mean, have wrapped themselves in rags and kept on working in between the moments life allows you and the moments life does not. I never stopped to count the blood, I never stopped to tie up the years of labor like a ledger on a shelf. A man who counts his suffering has only found himself a way to stop the moving, a reason to be done. I kept my eyes on working till the work can become one with breathing, one with living, one with everything I am. Not a modern story, just a working, breathing man. I've hauled the kind of loads that leave a mark upon the spine, loaded trucks at 4 a.m. in weather less than kind. Watched younger men complain about the things I'd kill to have. A solid week of labor and a reason and a path forward through the mornings. I watch them quit and go back to something easier. Every man must find his fire. I just know that mine burns low and steady, not higher. Not spectacular, not blinding, not the kind that draws a crowd. Just the pilot light of purpose, burning quiet under loud. There are men who wear the struggling like a crown upon their head, who need the world to witness every mountain that they tread. I buried mine in silence, in the acres and the loam, in the space between the labor and the long walk back home. I was born in a county where the dirt had its own name, where the summer burned like judgment and the winter did the same. My grandfather worked that soil till his fingers lost their feel, and my father followed after him, that same unyielding deal. Between a man and the earth beneath, between the sweat and clay, between the ones who stay and work and those who run away, I stayed. I stayed when the drought came rolling, like a preacher with no grace. Stayed when the bank sent letters with that cold familiar face of a system built for others, for the ones who never break their hands on honest labor, for the ones who only take. I stayed and I kept working when the reasons wore away, when the purpose became habit and the habit became gray. There's mud on my hands from the morning I was made, from the very first decision and the very first decade of learning what a man owes to the life that carries him, of learning that the light won't come unless you feed the dim corners of your discipline, the dark rooms of your will, the places where you grind alone when everything is still. My hands are split like dry wood in the January freezer, bled into the machinery, have bled into the trees I planted on the north end, where the wind comes hard and meaner, wrapped themselves in rags and kept on working in between the moments life allows you and the moments life does not. I never stopped to count the blood, I never stopped to tie up the years of labor like a ledger on a shelf. A man who counts his suffering has only found himself. A way to stop the moving, a reason to be done. I kept my eyes on working till the working become one, with breathing one, with living one, with everything I am. Not a modded story, just a working, breathing man. I've all the kind of loads that leave a mark upon the spine, loaded trucks coming weather less than kind. Watch younger men complain about the things I'd kill to have. A solid week of labor and a reason and a path. Forward through the mornings I watched them quit and go back to something easier, and I let them go. Without a word of judgment, every man must find his fire. I just know that mine burns low and steady, not higher, not spectacular, not blinding, not the kind that draws a crowd. Just the pilot light of purpose burning quiet under loud. There are men who wear the struggling like a crown upon their head, who need the world to witness every mountain that they've tread. I bury mine in silence, in the acres and the loam, in the space between the labor and the long walk back home. Through the field at end of evening when the light goes copper red, and the tiredness inside you is the cleanest kind of dead. Tired, the kind that comes from giving what you had to give. Not the tiredness of waiting, not the tiredness of live. Without direction, without purpose, that slow, hollow drain. But the good and honest tiredness that comes after genuine pain of effort, of commitment, of a body fully spent on something real and rooted, something solid, something meant. My father never told me that the work would love me back. He said the work would take you and keep you on the track of being something useful in a world that chews up men. He said do it anyway and do it all again. Every morning, no excuses, no appeal to easier days. A man is what he does when nobody watches, nobody pays attention, nobody records it, nobody writes it down. My father built a life like that in that half-forgotten town. And now I carry mud on these hands he gave to me, not as something shameful, not as something others see and understand as failure or as poverty or means. Mud on hands is evidence of more than what it seems. It is the autobiography of choices made in full. The story of a man who learned to push against the pull of comfort and a quitting, of the soft and easy road, who chose the field at sunrise and the weight of his own load. The creek behind my property runs brown this time of year, carries sediment from somewhere further up from here. I watch it in the evenings and I think about the way that everything is moving, everything is carried every day, some distance from its origin towards somewhere new and far. A man is like that water, always carrying what we are, from where we started moving through the landscape of our years, to the droughts and through the flood and through the laughter and the tears. There's mud on my hands tonight, and there'll be mud again at dawn, and every day that follows I will carry it along. the ceiling staring down, the same four walls around me in this half-forgotten town. The coffee's cold, the clock stopped, and the radio won't play. Just the sound of silence eating what's left of the day. My boots are worn to nothing from the miles I walked alone. Every road I traveled somehow led me back to bone. Back to bare and hollow, back to dust and broken stone. There ain't a man alive who knows how heavy is the throne of carrying your failures like a cross from town to town. The kind of weight that breaks you slow and never lets you drown. I had a name worth something once, a handshake men would trust. Now I watch it crumble like everything else turned to rust. My father told me, son, a man stands tall through any storm. I've been standing in this thunder so long I forgot what's warm. Forgot the smell of morning when the world still felt like mine. Forgot the taste of water from a different kind of vine. These empty rooms, they echo with the voices of the gone. Every chair that no one sits in, every silence carrying on. The coat rack by the doorway still holds jackets that aren't here. The boots beside the entrance still hold someone else's year. I keep them there like monuments to everything I lost. Never counted what I built, never tallied up the cost, until the bill came knocking and it emptied out the place. Left me standing in the hallway staring at my own face. Mirror tells a story that I ain't too proud to read. Lines like rivers carved by everything a man can need, and still go without, still go on, still go reaching in the dark. Like a match that knows it's fading, trying hard to leave a mark. I've been reaching since the morning when she packed the things and left. Not a word, not a letter, just the permanent bereft that settles in the rib cage like a stone inside a well. Deep enough to swallow, but not deep enough to quill. I poured my best years in the ground that wouldn't hold a seed. Worked the land from April cold to when the late nights bleed into morning. Without mercy, without resting, without praise, a man can lose his purpose in the fog of working days. Can't forget what drove him forward, can't forget the younger fire. Can't confuse his daily burden with a calling or desire. And when the season's over and the harvest comes a bear, he stands among the ruins with the cold November air. There's a blues that lives inside you when you've given more than kept, a debt you owe to no one but the promises you wept in the dark and quiet pillows when the world had gone to sleep. The kind of sorrow that a man will rarely speak, but carries like a river, carries sediment and mud, invisible and constant, running quiet through the blood. I walked the edge of rivers where the cold would cut the bone, threw my voice out over water just to hear it skip the moan across the surface like a stone that knows it cannot float. Just a man and his reflection in a half-remembered note from a song his mother hummed above the kitchen steam. So far back it might as well have been someone empty rooms don't scare me like they used to, I confess. I made my peace with quiet, I made my peace with less. Less of everything that glitters, less of everything that stings, less of promises and pageantry and all those borrowed things that men collect to prove they matter to a watching world. I don't need the crowd no more, I don't need the flag unfurled, just the honest weight of morning and the task inside my hand. The simple truth of working and the right to understand that a man can lose his everything and still remain a man. That the road don't care about your pride, your gold, your plan. That the weight of empty rooms can lift if you agree to stop filling them with ghosts of what you thought you'd be. So I rise before the sunrise and I lace my worn out boots and I step into the cold air where the last of night still roots itself into the shadows at the corner of the street. And I walk the same direction with the same familiar beat of a heart that's seen the worst and learned to keep the time in the old and grinding rhythm of this dark and honest rhyme. This weight of empty rooms, I learn to keep the time in the old and grinding rhythm of this dark and honest rhyme. This weight of empty river carries sediment in the mud, invisible and constant, running quiet through the blood. I woke up this morning with the ceiling staring down, the same four walls around me in this half-forgotten town. I walked the edge of rivers where the cold would cut the bone, threw my voice out over water just to hear it skip and moan. Crawford's cold, the clock stopped and the radio won't play, just the sound of silence eating what's left of the day. My boots are worn to nothing from the miles I walked alone. Every road I traveled somehow led me back to bone, back to barren hollow, back to distant broken stone. There ain't a man alive who knows how heavy is the I woke up this morning with the ceiling staring down, the same four walls around me in this half-forgotten town. The coffee's cold, the clock stopped, and the radio won't play, just the sound of silence eating what's left of the day. My boots are worn to nothing from the miles I walked alone. Every road I traveled somehow led me back to bone, back to barren hollow, back to dust and broken stone. There ain't a man alive who knows how heavy is the throne of carrying your failures like a cross from town to town. The kind of weight that breaks you slow and never lets you drown. I had a name worth something once, a handshake men would trust. Now I watch it crumble like everything else turned to rust. My father told me, son, a man stands tall through any storm. I've been standing in this thunder so long, I forgot what's warm. Forgot the smell of morning when the world still felt like mine. Forgot the taste of water from a different kind of vine. These empty rooms, they echo with the voices of the gone. Every chair that no one sits in, every silence carrying on. The coat rack by the doorway that aren't here. The boots beside the entrance still hold someone else's year. I keep them there like monuments to everything I lost. Never counted what I built, never tallied up the cost, until the bill came knocking and it emptied out the place. Left me standing in the hallway, staring at my own face. Mirror tells a story that I ain't too proud to read. Lines like a river's carved by everything a man can need, and still go without, still go on, still go reaching in the dark like a match that knows it's fading, trying hard to leave a mark. I've been reaching since the morning when she packed her things and left. Not a word, not a letter, just a permanent bereft that settles in the rib cage like a stone inside a well. Deep enough to swallow, but not deep enough to quell. I poured my best years into ground that wouldn't hold the seed. Worked the land from April cold to when the late nights bleed into morning without mercy, without rest and without praise. A man can lose his purpose in the fog of working days. Can't forget what drove him forward, can't forget the younger fire, can't confuse his daily burden with a calling or desire. And when the season's over and the harvest comes up bare, he stands among the ruins with the cold November air. There's a blues that lives inside you when you've given more than kept a debt you owe to no one but the promises you've wept into dark and quiet pillows when the world had gone to sleep. The kind of sorrow that a man will rarely speak, but carries like a river, carries sediment and mud, invisible and constant, running quiet through the blood. I walk the edge of rivers where the cold would cut the bone, threw my voice out over water just to hear it skip and moan across the surface like a stone that knows it cannot float. Just a man and his reflection and a half-remembered note from a song his mother hummed above the kitchen steam. So far back it might as well have been someone else's dream. The empty rooms don't scare me like they used to, I confess. I made my peace with quiet, I made my peace with less. Less of everything that glitters, less of everything that stings, less of promises and pageantry and all those borrowed things. Let men collect up who they matter to. Watching world, I don't need the crowd no more. I don't need the flag unfurled. Just the honest weight of mourning and the task inside my hand. The simple truth of working and the right to understand that a man can lose his everything and still remain a man. That the road don't care about your prize, you go, you plan. That the weight of empty rooms can lift if you agree to stop filling them with ghosts of what you thought you'd be. So I rise before the sunrise and I lace my worn out boots and I step into the cold air where the lasting nights still roots itself into the shadows at the corner of the street. And I walk the same direction with the same familiar beat of a heart that's seen the worst and learned to keep the time in the old and grinding rhythm of this dark and honest rhyme. This weight of empty rooms won't always be my song, and variable and constant running quiet through the blood. I walk the edge of rivers where the cold will cut the bone, threw my voice out over water just to hear